and should be live. First. It doesn't make sense. Let's see. That phone. Got some. Oh, that's zero reviewers. Hey, g'day, g'day, we got somebody here. Woohoo! Alright. This is all set up for a season. Every team plays each other twice, and the teams are as accurate for 2020. So this was all set up a little while ago. Well, there we go. First up is Broncos vs Tigers. Woohoo! And we'll simulate it, so this game, obvious. G'day, National Sports loaded. How's your weekend going? Halves. Weather. Hey, Matt. I have heard nothing about the game. Actually, surprisingly quiet. Going back up there, so I've heard nothing. I don't know. I guess it's somewhere in development or pre-development.
Hello, students of rugby league and lovers of the game. Good to be here at Suncorp Stadium as we bring you coverage of this highly anticipated clash between the Brisbane Broncos and the West Tigers. I'm Andrew Voss, and alongside me today, dressed in a beach shirt, it's Eddie Hemmings.
And look,
Aloha.
no lag.
For this one.
Oh, Andrew, I'm really looking forward to this one. A big crowd is building up to see two quality football sides. Now, whenever these two sides meet, you can guarantee it'll be played with plenty of passion, and I'm expecting more of the same here.
So, it's an opening round clash. Let's get it underway. Crowd is ready for this one. With the hit up.
So I will say I'm very much looking forward to it.
Plays it off.
I'd love a big studio like EA or someone got hold of a rugby league game.
Teeth in that tackle.
Or whoever does Madden or something, maybe, I don't know.
Delivering the short ball. Sloppy play.
That EA.
Pass.
Haven't played Madden for a while.
Pile driver tackle. Looking to send his man through a hole. He finds open pasture. One-handed offload. I like that. He's kept it alive.
Great pass.
Leilua. Nice step. That'll say 4 points, that tackle. The Broncos are looking shaky. Snappy pass. Bye.
Bye.
Driven back. Ref says 4 with a quick pass. Dewey surges forward in the tackle. Have a go at him. The Tigers are over the line, and Eddie didn't see it, and I don't know. A snappy pass. Nofaluma tries his luck with a grubber kick. Brisbane. That's one. Move.
Idea. Oh, the Google. Yes. You're alive 5. August 13th article.
Evades that tackle.
Let's see if I can pull it up on this. Oh, that thing here. I knew this was August, so 5 months ago. A new rugby league game is on the way. NRL has confirmed the rugby league game is in the works and due for release 2021. The confirmation comes in response to an email from a fan questioning the NRL about the future of rugby league in games. The email reads, "We are currently working on a new release for the 2021 season and we will be sure to let supporters know what release date has been confirmed. In the meantime, other rugby league games can be purchased here through trueblue.com.au. The rugby league game, the last rugby league game was Rugby League Live 4, which we've got on now, which was developed by Melbourne's Big Ant Studios in 2017. Big Ant has developed every game in the series since the original in 2003. Big Ant has already confirmed that they will not be developing the next game in this series. It's unclear at this point who will take over development, but it's likely that it'll be developed overseas." Interesting. Release platforms also aren't clear, although it's likely we'll see the game released on next-gen consoles as well as the current generation of console. So, yeah, all we really know is that a game is going to happen. The whens and hows, who knows? Pardon me. I think they need to get their set plays and everything right. What would you guys like to see in the new game? Life is good, it's busy. Got 2 kids under the age of 2, so everything's a bit chaotic. Why I can't stream as much as I might have before. How about you?
He got some pace. Up their sleeve. Left foot sprinting.
Well, that depends on what's happening with. You've got Sivo and Ferguson there. But if you got those two, I wouldn't take Mansell then. Even just from a salary cap point of view, that's not really worth it, is it? But it depends. I heard rumours that Ferguson might not start the season. Don't know how true that is. But that's what's going around the interwebs anyway, so I don't know. If you don't have one of your wingers, I'd definitely take him. He's still got a couple of decent years left in him. He just, unfortunately, has to deal with the fact that Penrith's a development club, so we've got these guys coming through where we have to pick one. Otherwise, we'll lose them.
Goes downfield before they used up all of their tackles. Not sure about the logic behind that. He's got momentum. Referee has called play the ball. He'll do it 40 metres out.
Yes, the other question, would you want him at the Eels?
Croft! What a step! Running along. Good tackle. The defence is looking shaken. Finds support. Croft! Milford driving forward. He's held there. 5th tackle. Let's see what they can come up with.
Come on, guys. Somebody score a try.
Puts up the bomb.
And Kai Jr. being your tackle kicker.
To catch that ball in goal.
good football from both sides. A good pressure kick, well diffused.
He restarts with a tap. Tamo surges forward in the tackle. There's the half-time hooter. The referee calls it into the first half. It's close going to the break. Eddie, what did you think?
Yep, an excellent first half, Andrew, and it...
Well, in that case, then yeah, I'd say take him. He's still got another couple of good years left in him. It's just Panthers are stuck in a situation where we have to pick between a guy who's got probably 2 or 3 years left versus the young blokes who they've developed who have 10 years left. And because of the salary cap, we can't keep more. It's just not possible. So it's not like whoever gets him is going to get let down or anything. He'll still go there and do a good job for us.
That's his second. Tamo. He's held there. He's held 3. There's meters to be made from dummy half.
And like you saw, I think in 2020, he was probably the highest meter reading winger in the game. He's pretty much like a prop on the wing there, starting your sets out.
It's tackle 5. Do they run or kick?
And the other thing is something forgotten too. He's actually quite a good finisher. When he was at his peak, around that 2000, probably 16 so mark. When he got picked for New South Wales and Australia, he was a very good finisher. He can do those big diving finishes. And yep, Tedovano's. So Tedovano left when it was all dependent on Spencer Leniu re-signing. So Spencer Leniu had offers from the Bulldogs, a pretty decent size offer, and he took less to stay with Penrith. So then we let Tedovano take up an offer to make the room for Leniu. So there's a lot of pieces having to move around to fit the salary cap. So you got Mansour having to move. Essentially, Mansour is moving for Staines. Tedovano's moving for Leniu. Laurie's going because we picked Staines, I guess.
Misses the tackle. Shows us his pace now. Wow.
And we're not the only club. Look at the end of last year, that was an article came out where it said the Bulldogs tapped, I think it was 8 players on the shoulder basically, and we're like, see you guys, you're out. It's what has to happen.
And an opportunity on the back of that to add another 2. He splits the black dot in 2 with a kick. The Brisbane Broncos. The home side is still in front. Goes long. And he's right in position to field.
Yeah, that's the new one, which is actually kind of funny because it was South who wouldn't give him a shot all those years ago. We took him on from a reserve grade. He became what everyone saw. Great winger. He might go back there. I don't know. It will be kind of sad to see him in a different jersey though. Be really weird. In 10 years at one club and then shifting. Not the only player to do it, but still sad to see.
Wow, just short of the halfway line. This team is on a roll. He's over halfway. Hill, 5, hole on a 10. Dropped. He punts it. Showing plenty of speed. Keeps going. One, pile driver tackle. Hill, 2, on the keep going. Out ball. He's held there. Right, that's the third. 12. Tamo surges forward in the tackle. Have a go at him. Tamo makes the tackle. We reach tackle number 4. Duhi. Play on. Straight through.
Oh, intercept.
Oh,
There he goes.
look at the local
Poor
fans.
Tigers.
They love it.
Wow, this team has an amazing knack of scoring something from nothing, and this try was certainly no exception. I'm going to remember this try for a long,
Well, they've done what?
long time.
Is it 3 quarterfinals in a row? I suspect they'll be one of the big teams to beat this year. They keep being on that just edge. They just need that little bit of extra something. I mean, when Latrell Mitchell got injured, they were on a run, and he was finding good form at fullback. He finally got his fitness up, and he was ready to go. And he did that hamstring injury, I think it was, where he was like got bent over backwards, upside down with a player on top of him. That was
Ball straight forward there, that goal.
that was a bit messed up.
Starting to feel the pressure now. The home side can be
We can find it. I can find the clip of it. Yeah, it's it was too.
There, and rightly so.
Oh, of course, I got to play an ad for us before the clip. It was a good game too.
Duhi.
Come on, we don't want ads.
Brooks. Lovely pass. Batters his way through that tackle. And he'll have to play the ball after that tackle.
Come on, show us
Leilua
clip.
with momentum. Well, I think it's a try. I think it's a try. I don't know if it's a try. There's the green light, and it is a try.
Honestly, I think if he doesn't get injured there,
Toughest kick I've seen him
here,
line up.
where is this it here? Yeah. He was really coming good too.
Oh, this will be taken away.
Oh, he's saying Gutho obstructed Totola.
Just check
The number 8 from South.
He prevents Junior Totola to come forward to make an attempted tackle on the ball carrier. We have
Yeah, I see what they're saying.
With a punt.
Yeah, so he's saying that Gutho obstructed Totola,
Fooling the
which fair enough. You gotta.
has found space.
I guess the onus is on the attacking players to make sure they're doing the right thing,
He's coming.
because the defense shouldn't be forced into those decisions.
Fabulous try.
Sydney have scored a marvellous long-range try here, and the crowd are absolutely stunned by this play. The opposition had no answer in stopping that try.
A moment to line things up.
What news have we got out there? Heel stat feed. 5 hours ago, there was a brand new article. NRL.com reporter. They couldn't put their name to it. That's a bit. Eels entered 2020 among the Premiership favourites. Talk of ending a 34-year title drought simmering away. The hype increased when Parramatta found themselves in second place, 1 point behind ladder-leading Penrith after 10 rounds. While Brad Arthur's team were an attacking juggernaut in the first half of the campaign, scoring 39 tries in 10 games, the 5th most. Bad. their ability to find the stripe nosedived as the year wore on. It's pretty simple. Everyone forgets that Mitch Moses got injured. They started falling away a bit, and it sort of just never picked back up. And what do you expect that to be like for us? Nathan Cleary getting injured or something. We drew with, when he was out with the 2-game ban, we had a tie and a win. But we didn't look particularly flashy, not until Nathan came back, and then yeah, everything kind of clicked into gear. Weird that it never gets mentioned. Oh, it actually gets mentioned later in the article. Holy crap, it's the first time I've seen an article actually mentioned. It's worth noting that the halfback Mitchell Moses was hampered by a calf injury, and 5'8" Dylan Brown missed their final 4 rounds with an ankle problem. Well, I wonder why they weren't scoring points. You've got 2 halves who aren't as good as they should be due to injuries. There's literally no chance they start 2021 off the way they finished 2020. They'll be too good for that. Matter of staying healthy.
William puts boot to ball. Tupou able to take that catch.
The website. Yeah, so as far as the Mansell stuff goes, apparently it all hinges on out on Corey Allen. South Sydney have emerged as shot contender for the services of unwanted Penrith winger Josh Mansell. Rabbitohs are keen to add Mansell to the back line, blah blah, although any deal is contingent on the release of Corey Allen. Which, yeah, Canterbury are the ones who apparently... It's interesting because they keep buying bags. I hope their forwards are going alright. But, anyway, there they go. Yeah. That'd be so weird seeing Josh Mansell playing it for another team next year. There's a Telegraph. Big one for Penrith. Penrith Panthers signed Scott Sorensen from Cronulla. Penrith have replaced their forward stocks with the signing of former Sharks forward Scott Sorensen. Without a club for 2021, after failing to be re-signed by the Sharks last season, the strong ball runner has received a lifeline from the Panthers. Sorensen met with Penrith coach Ivan Cleary on Friday before agreeing to a 12-month contract. But the fun part about that is he actually shares the same manager with Brighton and Mansell. So it looks like there's a bit of, hopefully he'll come across and then pieces will start falling into place over the next week or so. With luck.
Land with a quick pass. Powers forward. This is good. Just 1 to go in the set. Strikes that one.
Obviously Penrith fan. Fancy no re-signings yet.
Wrapped up on the 20-metre line. Good burst this one. The double act in defence ends that run. Nicole Clockstad, and with a step, he gets away from the defence. Finally wrapped up. That's the 50-metre line, you can see. Still a couple of tackles left here. Williams breaks through. It's a close call, but he's hung on too long in the tackle. Penalty.
Great call from the referee. They simply didn't heed the warning.
Hi Trey. I think the Bulldogs are going to surprise everyone, honestly. I think they're going to be pushing 48 or just out of it, so that 6 to 12 bracket where a lot of it's determined by for and against, I think they'll be in there. And I don't think people are going to see it coming. Check out everyone's ladder predictions for 2021. No one's going to have them doing any good, I don't think. But I think they're going to be a big surprise team this year.
Whiten.
But they've just changed so much. I think as I said before, the end of last year, they essentially moved on 8 players, brought in Barrett. Titans. I think Titans are in the 8, barring injury. Flat out. The way they ended last year, and AJ Brimson, their coach come over from Super League with, I think it was like a 70% win record. So they're going places. But I will say, just in general with the ladder, I think everyone's ladder predictions are going to be messed up. 2020, everyone's going to be looking at going, oh, this is what happened. But there's going to be a lot of difference from that. 1, rosters have changed a lot. 2, the same injuries aren't going to happen. 2020, a lot of injuries happened because we had the COVID layoff. Then everyone was coming in without a pre-season, and their bodies weren't really ready for it properly. So the comp just got absolutely smashed. Even the Broncos, who finished last place, their spine was an absolute mess all year. Like Bird, who was supposed to play fullback, got injured. I think you'll see a big improvement across the league in general. But my big improvers for next year are the Titans and Bulldogs. They're the ones who I think will see jump multiple places.
They force him back, and they rattle his back teeth in that tackle. Harawira Naira. They're closing the gap. Eventually taken to ground. The Raiders attacking strongly. That's the halftime hooter. That's tackle 5. So the first half is over. The Sydney Roosters have the lead at the break and would love to keep their opponents scoreless in the second half.
The Sydney Roosters, they head into the dressing rooms in the lead.
But even these two teams here, we got Raiders and Roosters. Both of them are up around that top 4 mark. They're still going to improve. Ooh, the Raiders, I think mid-year they were almost playing a reserve grade team at one point. And the Roosters fell right off because Victor Radley got injured. He holds their middle up together. You watch any game where he plays, if he gets interchanged, just watch the momentum of the game change slightly down. I called it as soon as he got injured. I said, and people called me nuts. They're like, no, it won't have that much of an effect. If you watch any game he plays, when he gets interchanged off, the entire momentum of the game changes. He completely holds the Roosters' middle together in attack and defense.
Keary moves it on. That's a sloppy pass, that one. The Sydney Roosters are looking dangerous every time they get the ball. And the pass has been hijacked.
Oh, intercept.
Surges forward. Whiten cutting out his teammates. Held 2. He's held there. Whiten. Superb tackle. Held. Clear him. Eddie, look at him accelerate. Blocks his run. There's the 4th tackle. It's a turnover of possession. Play on. Let him go.
Let him go.
Keary delivers a long ball. Lamb surges forward in the tackle. Have a go at him. Crichton with a short ball. Explodes through the tackle. That ball has been taken. Release. Held. Flicks the ball inside. And they've managed to...
That was a blatant knock on there.
Tosses this one wide. Almost into touch there. He's held there. The 2-man tackle there. Ref says 4. Plenty of determination in that run. Carrying defenders with him. Wow. It's tackle 5. Do they run or kick? The Canberra Raiders.
Funny, might surprise people. My big question mark for 2021, actually my own team, Panthers.
Right, here's tackle 1.
I don't know, it might be weird. Everyone's like, oh, but that's your team. You know, you think you'd pick another team and be like, ha, they suck. I'm actually tempted to make a video about this later and explain why 2021 ladder predictions are almost pointless. I think the entire comp's going to be completely shaken up from the last year or two. There's going to be so much change. I think it's going to shock people. I think most 2021 ladder predictions are going to be off. I'll say there's going to be improvement right across the comp, excluding injuries. My big improvers are Bulldogs and Titans. Yes, easily. Last year their spine was a mess, and they've changed their coach, which I was never a big fan of Seabold anyway, just as a coach. Don't know him as a person, not trying to insult him, but I thought when he got the South gig that he essentially was just walking into a stacked roster anyway that was ready to go. Most people could have walked into that team. Whereas I think Walters will bring in a lot of emotion to it, and the young blokes can play off that. But like I said, it's going to depend on injury. I think they had their main hooker was playing halfback for half the season.
Quick with a pass. Bang! With a step. Just steams past the defence. Keeps it alive. And they stop him right on the 10-metre line. A snappy pass. Hodgson. Papali surges forward in the tackle. Hard to handle.
And Justin doesn't look like he's in here, but he'll tell you the same thing. They've got a bunch of young blokes who have come through Cowboys. Yeah, I think so. I mean, they just came off releasing Paul Green, so they kind of have to find their feet. Any coaches coming in will take a minute, and they had their interim coach, which doesn't help. But they went and got... When you look at what the Warriors did this year, I mean, they nearly made the 8. I think they were only like 1 or 2 games out of it. So getting him up there, and I've forgotten his damn name. Damn it. Having a bad name day today. Todd Payton. Got his name for a second. I had to bring Google. Get the research going. But you see what he did with the Warriors this year. I mean, they went from being a complete rabble. They promoted him from assistant coach, and then they nearly made the 8. I mean, clearly knows what he's doing. It's just a matter of getting that roster right, and obviously staying healthy again. Their big issue was their spine again was injured. I mean, until we see that improve across the comp, everyone's going to be worse than they should be. So I'm not sure I see as much improvement in the Cowboys as other teams, like say the Bulldogs, for example.
The home team back into this one now.
The Sydney Roosters.
I mean, a lot with the Cowboys depends on Michael Morgan. I mean, I don't see why not. Oh no, it's an interesting one. Being so vague on it all, but... I mean, I think he should. He's good enough to go one more season. But at the same time, you know, we know he's moved up to Queensland. And the Storm have Harry Grant and all that, so... I don't know. I suspect he'll retire, but... I don't think he has to. His game is entirely based on the mental side of it. You look at it, he doesn't get tackled very often, and his tackling style isn't very hard. He could easily go another year or 2 and not really be concerned physically. It's just a matter of whether he can... I don't know, the Titans are the ones thrown around a lot, but they just bought a feeder for like $11 bazillion, so I don't know how their cap's going now. But I mean, based on where he's from Southeast Queensland, so if he plays, I imagine it'd be either Titans or Broncos.
Shows us his pace now.
Very possibly Titans. I mean, if they've got the cap, I can see him going there. They don't really have much in the way of hookers. I mean, what they're going to play? What, Mitch Rain or something? I don't know. I haven't checked up on what they're doing now.
Referee signifies fifth tackle. Friend, barnstorming run. They had them in a spot of trouble, but a little too eager there, and they've squandered a prime opportunity to put points on the board.
Poor hands, a lack of concentration.
Louis.
No, it was rumoured at one point the Tigers were looking at him, but I cannot see that happening. It'll definitely be either stay on with the Storm until he wants to retire, or it'll be Titans, Broncos. They're your three options. I can't see anyone outside of that getting him.
That, folks, is the full-time Soren, just galloping along. Still a couple of tackles up their sleeve here. It's all over.
I think his kids just started going to school up there or something as well, just at the end of the season there, when they're in their bubble up in Sunshine Coast.
And they have come away with a really good victory.
We'll have more rugby league for you next time. On behalf
This
of
Brandon Smith, I think he's probably the most in-demand player in the game at the moment, isn't he? I think we've heard Tigers, Broncos, Warriors, Titans. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Tigers rumor panned out. I mean, because Josh Reynolds left, they've got a bit of cap space now, and they need a hooker with Harry Grant leaving, so they'd be able to sort of make a big play for him. Say, hey, play at hooker, which is his original what that he likes to play in. And I kind of wouldn't mind seeing that. I've got a big soft spot for the Tigers, so. Let's any new 4 days ago, beating the great one, Harry Brandon's off again in post camp. It looks like maybe they might be shaping up. Queensland Origin star Harry Grant is officially back in Storm colours and will running battle with Team Brandon, his and club icon. So maybe it'll turn out he ends up staying. I mean, past Bellamy being able to convince him. That'd be huge for the Bulldogs. That'd be massive. I'm not sure we let him go. If the Dogs got those two this year, I think they're in the 8. I think the worst they would do if they got both of those this year, they'd be 8th place. It's
Beautiful, stunning conditions here. The weather gods have really turned it on for us today.
But it's pretty simple. You'd have Flanagan and Burton in the halves. Probably Flanagan at halfback and Burton at 5'8". Put Jack on the wing. And boom. You've got yourself a top 8 team almost. Because they've already got Hetherington. Go along with the English bloke they got. So they've fixed their front row. So their middle forwards are doing okay. So they could probably use 1 or 2 more. Play Averillo at fullback. Jack on the wing. Success.
So, the selectors ummed and ahed over a few positions over the past week. I think they may have got it right tonight. The inaugural winner of the National Youth
Have a look. At him. superstar stuck in Sydney after border closure. Storm star Josh Adokar is stuck in Sydney with Victoria's border ban stopping the New South Wales Origin gun from. Oh no. Fox is trapped in the harbour city after spending the rest of break in Sydney, failing to escape before Victoria closed Wales. Yeah, because all these families are up here, so makes sense, and it kind of all happened really fast. What I've heard, there's only one club that's been thrown up, and that's Bulldogs. So my guess would be they take him, and you get Corey Allen at fullback, Josh Adokar on the wing. But that depends on whether it actually happens or not. Bulldogs are probably the biggest spender this year.
Kicks long. McInnes. There to field the
I
kick.
mean,
Laurie.
it's an issue. I don't know how that'll work.
Hard to
He can't physically go back, so they've got a player who they're playing
short ball.
be their in their top 17 who they just cannot use, because the government is saying nope, you can't go home. Well, can't leave and go back to your team. So I don't know. It's interesting. They might have to replace him. I mean, he wanted a release anyway, so he could, if he really wanted out, he could use this situation to press for the release that he said he wanted.
They were in.
That's just dependent on how much he wants it, I guess.
That's tackle 5. The punt. One. Release. Hopawati. He gallops over the 20-metre line. Hopawati makes the tackle.
When it comes down to it, they can't afford to let him go. They've got, I mean, they've got no one of his caliber or even close to it to replace him with.
There's an offload. He's caught by the defence.
Put simply, it's depth.
He's got momentum.
We've had
Still in
little issues here and there with our centres,
shows himself.
and we did give Burton a go at centre last year, so I suspect he's actually going to be our right centre for the year,
Elegant.
or he'll be back up half.
Not a popular call with the locals, but despite their objections, it's the right call.
Because if we let go of Dane Laurie,
All their tackles there.
then we're going to have to keep Burton. It's sort of one or the other. And it looks like if we can get rid of Mansour, then
Play with a tap. In
do a
open
trade with the Tigers. They'll get Laurie a year early, and then they can play him at fullback. So our roster's all over the place a bit too with the lower round guys. Like, our top guys are all sorted out, settled out. We've got most of our top scene sorted, our top 17, but we've got those few little depth positions, and then our centre is a bit vulnerable. So Burton will very possibly play at centre depending on what happens with Naden.
Driving forwards. That is strong. I'm a long way away, but I think he got it down. We'll be happy with that decision.
And me personally, I don't have anything against him going early.
With the high
Like, he gets to go, earn his bigger paycheck, and enjoy his job.
it's still on. St. George
Yeah.
Illawarra.
Naden will be ready to go for pre-season and all that.
Up and over the 10-metre line.
But
Powers forward.
as we saw last year, when we came back from the COVID break, Ivan had him dropped for a couple of games, and at the end of the year, we dropped him for a couple of games.
Carrying defenders with him. Wow.
So I don't know. It's coaches get their preferences sometimes, and I'm not sure Naden is a particular favourite of Ivan's.
Back with me. Plenty of determination in that run. They
But we'll see.
continue to roll forward. Barnstorming run. Wrapped up. No way through. Gets a kick
Yeah, I'm a fan of him on the field. He's a good player. It's,
through. Hey, bro.
most fans were confused as to what was going on at the end of the year there, and at the start. I think the rumor at the start of the year was he came back from the COVID break unfit. So fair enough, but then he dropped him again at the end of the year. So I don't know. I think if we have another option, I think Ivan will go with whoever the other option is. In this case, Burton. or if we do sign someone else.
Look at him accelerate. Play on as the court. Marshall powers forward. This is good. Good tackle there. Elegant. Off the left foot.
I think the Roosters will be better. As I was saying before, I think Victor Radley coming back from injury is going to make a huge difference.
Surges forward.
As I was saying earlier, you watch any game, when he gets subbed off, when he gets interchanged, the Roosters' momentum completely shifts.
Ref says four.
Staines is too small for it. His entire game is based around being quick and being able to ball play. He wouldn't be able to do the defensive side of the game at centre very well, I don't think. If Mansell was a bit younger, he could probably transition to centre. But he's a 30-year-old winger now. I mean, if you move Mansell anywhere, you'd have to move him into the forwards, like playing him as a tough running little lock or something like that, or second rower or something. You can just take hard hit-ups.
Charges at the defence. With momentum. Proving a handful. He heads east. Clune driving forward. This is excellent attack.
Staines can play fullback though.
Hit by the defence.
That's his other. So basically, he can play fullback in the halves at a pinch and on the wing.
Hunt looks to pressure them with a bomb.
A lot of Panthers fans agree with you. He's much loved. He's probably the most popular Panthers player with the fans.
Restarting play with a tap. Elegant.
And I don't think it's a case of losing a player you'd want to lose. I think it's just salary cap pressure. And being a development club, because Penrith put so much time and effort into it, when these guys finally come through, then you've got a lot of pressure on your top 17. The guys who are already there. And it's a balancing act. Oh, he definitely has. But of course, he did get loyalty back. His last contract that he got for a couple of years was he was actually out with his ACL injury, so he got through a couple of very serious injuries and Penrith stuck by him and gave him extra contracts and extra time in first grade. So it did go both ways a bit. It's not as though Mansell just got absolutely ripped off. I mean, he got 9 years through multiple serious injuries. I mean, I wouldn't be sad to see him stay, but it's just the way it has to go, I guess. Because otherwise we'd be losing Staines and Laurie. And we can't afford that, because when Sauce is done in probably 2-3 years, then we've got this big hole there in the back line.
Sims driving forward. Referee says forward pass.
Yeah, well, it looks like obviously they're losing Corey Allen. And I mean, honestly, if they did want to take him, I wouldn't mind trading him for Burns, and then we could play Burns at centre. But I think someone said that on the LU Panthers forum, and I actually don't mind it as an idea. The Tigers were the big one, but I don't know what happened with that. I think they were only prepared to offer him 2 years, and he wanted 3, so at least that's what the reports said.
Stanza underway here. Marshall King there to field the kick. Thompson with momentum.
And don't forget, the Rabbitohs also just took Jai Arrow. So it's like they themselves are actually shifting the backline around a bit.
Jackson. He surges
Or
forward.
roster, I should say.
Inside the 40. He's held there. Flanagan. That's a long pass. He surges forward. The two-man tackle is a strong one. Shows us his pace now. Driving forward. Runs up to the defensive line. The attack coming in waves. Clear the tarmac. He's coming through. He surges forward.
Who's your team, Trey?
Kicks. Nice defence there. Hunt. Sims. with momentum, proving a handful. Hunt. Two-man tackle, it's good defence. 3, back to 10. Hurd.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was a bit hard done by. I mean, you just came off back-to-back premierships and then debuted a halfback. I mean, he was never ever in a million years going to meet the expectation of Cooper Cronk. I mean, Cooper Cronk, in my opinion, he's been one of my favourite halfbacks to ever watch. He's so intelligent. Like, 500 IQ halfback. And then you come in with a rookie halfback. You got to give him a minute. I didn't even think he was overly that bad. It's just there were things around that in the roster in general. Again, we come back to those injuries. I mean, you had your young hooker Verrills injured. You had one of your main middle forwards injured. It was never happening. I mean, what, you put Sonny Bill in to play in the middle.
And with a step, he gets away from the defence, running along.
I think if we don't see those injuries and you let him settle in, you guys are a lot better off.
Laurie surges forward in the tackle.
And it's not an insult to him. I still think the Roosters are going to be better this year than they were last year.
Back foot here with a little bullet pass. Bird. Canterbury Bankstown are looking shaky. Flicks a short pass. Vaughan. Well, he's over the line, and I think he's got this down.
I think he's going to be good. He's going to be up there. People were talking about him like they talk about Nathan Cleary and, you know, the Ash Taylors and that. You just got to give him time to settle. I mean, they say halves usually start peaking when they get around 24, 25. I mean, if you debut at somewhere 18 to 20, that's, you know, essentially 3 or 4 years of development a halfback needs in the top grade to really come into their own. I think the Bulldogs are going to be absolutely massive with him there. You put him and Burton together, there's 2 young halves who are going to grow over the next couple of years together. Even if Burton comes next year, you're still getting, you got 2 young guys in their early 20s who can develop for the next 5-10 years together.
Marshall slips in the short one. Look at him wading through the defence. May not be 100%.
Of course, the Roosters are the Roosters, and they have very high expectations, which, to their credit, that's why they're so good. I mean, a lot of people give them crap about, you know, salary cap cheating and all that, but at the end of the day, it's that professional attitude and that expecting nothing but 110% perfect every time you do your job that makes them as good as they are. Why they've been one of the best teams of the decade.
Classic tackle. Hurd. Vaughan surges forward in the tackle. Well, that's their tactic, but he's got to be penalised for slowing the play the ball down.
A good call from the referees.
That ball is over the sideline. He restarts with a tap. Vaughan. Hurd. Carrying defenders with him. One. Release. Laurie slips in the short one with momentum.
And it looks like St. George are going to take it.
On the keep going. Powers forward. Held. 3 markers lock in. Feeds the short ball. Hey, which way did he go? Great step. Back up is coming. He's held there. Lomax.
Oh dear.
Left up. The defence is looking a bit shaky here. Feeds the short ball. 5 markers lock in. Loops it over the top. Hunt. The torpedo bomb. Look out. Fooling the defence with that step.
He's in for the try.
Oh, the Dragons put it away.
Absolutely delighted with this.
Well, if he
Sure, Dragons fans would have wanted to see some of that last year.
You get a try just like that. St George Illawarra have scored a brace. That's his second try of the match.
And thoroughly deserved. He has worked tirelessly out there today.
I've seen him land plenty of these. I think he's confident. is off the right side. The Dragons, the away side, is still in front. Kicks long. He snaffles that one. Hit up hard and straight. He's held there. Carrying defenders with him. Wow. Hunt cutting out his teammates. Good step. Wow. Driven back in the tackle. He's almost through. Heron. This team is on a roll. Bang! With a step. Clear through the defence. Eventually taken to ground. It's tackle 5. Do they run or kick? McInnes looking to send his man through a hole. And up she goes. Hopawati under the bomb and cool under pressure. Good step. Ooh. Force backwards. Tyler Mariner. That's your second. Marshall looks and turns the ball inside. Stimson surges forward in the tackle. Marshall. He's got momentum. Still going. Ref says ball. Well, they didn't use the full set of tackles there. Picks up the football. This could be trouble. Super tackle straight over the sideline. Brought down close to the sideline.
Bulldogs just can't catch a break.
On the charge.
And Dragons take it out.
Sims. Oh, Eddie.
Sim.
How quick is this bloke? That's your second. Has thrown it forward.
Ow, bugger.
Hopawati breaks the defence. His shadow can't keep up with him. Driven back. And they stop him right on the 20. Marshall. Out in spaces. Wrapped up on the 20-metre line.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
That, folks, is the full
That's the
time
Dragons.
Darting along. Napa with momentum. Collected on the 10-metre line. It's full time. St George Illawarra start the season with a great victory.
St George Illawarra have secured the win this afternoon. A display of decent rugby league here has seen them come out on top.
Right, I'll leave it there. So nice to chat to everybody. What little we had. These are comps so far. Round 1, Broncos, Tigers. Broncos win by 6. Suncorp Stadium. Raiders, Roosters. JO. Roosters won that one. And then we had Dogs, Dragons. Dragons winning. Good fun. But I think the Dogs are going to be better next year. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you next. Have a good weekend, guys.